If you watched my last video, you already know that I've been testing Fotello for real estate editing for a while now. And in that video, I talked a lot about the things I love and what it's doing right. But today, I want to talk about where it really struggles. This isn't nitpicking either. These are the things that actually get in the way of using it as part of a real production workflow and how my larger team is struggling with adapting. Now, let's start with the images themselves. From my experience, you can get incredible results here, but there are a few caveats. HDR brackets, well, they came out cleaner than Flambient or really any type of flash blend. Whenever I feed flash layers into the system, no matter if it's a Flambient blend or window pull, for some reason, it pulls grain into the shadows that weren't there before. So with new software comes a new way of shooting for both me and my team. We've basically removed any kinds of strobes when shooting for this software. I think the windows still come out great with just bracketed shots, so for my personal testing, there's no real advantages to adding flash layers in Fotello. As a matter of fact, it's only really been a negative for me. I'm curious, if you've been using Fotello, have you noticed the same issues with flash or uploads? Drop those experiences down in the comments, because I love to compare notes. Coffee's ready. Zimmer's coffee, you can't get better. All right, let me set this down. We can get back to it. I've also tried feeding single exposure images in with a strobe and, trying to negate that grain that happened from the extra bracketing process and the wood tones, especially in cabinets and floorings. Well, those tend to skew red. I found that processing through the software, you're going to notice it's about 80% there. Somewhere between 80–90% of the images I get back look amazing straight out of the gate, especially after I apply my preset. But about 10 to 20% still need some sort of soft post-production, and I run everything through Lightroom for touch-ups just to make them look more natural and cohesive. Sometimes it's just wall adjustments, sometimes it's color shifts in general, and a lot of times it's things that are just missing from the editing panel that I'll cover a little bit later in this video. But overall, as a baseline, it's more than a solid start. It takes a minimal amount of time, and especially if you don't have a consistent editor now. If you are the type of creator that usually puts their hands on every image the editor send back anyway for quality control, well, this is actually going to be the perfect editing software for you. Now, let's talk about Fotello's editing panel. It's good. I talked about it. It works extremely well, but it's also not complete. You got some great starter controls and saving those builds and presets that I just mentioned and being able to apply those to everything, it's clutch. But you're missing the ability to fix perspective and crop. There's an auto fix and that works 90% of the time, but I can't be expected to deliver a crooked image, right? For a system that's trying to position itself as a final delivery platform, it doesn't allow you to upload images to the tour once it starts processing. Well, that's a big gap. I still end up pulling images into Lightroom to get those finishing touches right. And I just talked a little bit about those, but that pretty much defeats the purpose of using Fotello as an all-in-one platform. If I can't crop, I can't fix verticals that are askew after the autocorrect, and I can't re-upload those fixed files or anything else like virtually staged images, then I can't really use it to deliver a seamless product to clients. Now, I've saved my personal biggest issue for last because I think it really only affects people running large teams like mine. The last big pain point I want to talk about, well, it's going to be the workflow. There is no Dropbox or Google Drive integration. And honestly, that kills efficiency. My company, 50 gigs of data can turn into 150 gigs really quick because of all the extra downloads and uploads we have to do just to get the things processed on the site. And in 2025, an AI platform, seamless cloud integration isn't optional. It's the backbone of all professional workflows. This is what my current workflow looks like right now with Fotello. Photographers upload images from the field. My new adjustments coordinator. Yeah, did I mention I had to actually hire another person just for this role? Well, now you know. So my new adjustments coordinator downloads all the images from the multiple photographers out into the field onto their personal computer. Then, without making a single change to them, uploads them to Fotello. Issues. The big problem here is that the uploader and editor, well, they work in real time. And that means that the actual upload time takes much longer than it would to just simply download it to something like Dropbox. It consistently takes me 10 times longer to upload to Fotello than it does to Dropbox. That process during upload might be great for 30 images, but when I'm trying to process 400 images a night, this is an extreme bottleneck. It's so consuming, I had to hire someone to do it that I just mentioned, which completely negates the savings I was actually going to get from using the AI software to begin with. I didn't even mention that there's also no integration to Ario. So now we have to download the images again because we also can't put them back in Dropbox from the site like our traditional editors do because, well, you already know. Now, to be fair, I know Fotello is working on team-oriented software in the background. It's being done right now. It's supposed to be their next release, and if they nail it, it could solve a lot of these workflow bottlenecks I'm dealing with. So I'm optimistic, but for now, this is a real limitation. I really think trying to be the everything software is beginning to cause them some serious issues for larger scale operators. So the takeaway, Fotello is great for solo editors or smaller operations, but once you start scaling up to bigger teams, these issues, well, they become roadblocks. Still, it's a solid starting point, and if you don't have a reliable editor right now, this may be exactly what you need. Now, if you want to see my follow-up when that team software finally drops, make sure to subscribe because I'll be testing it the second it's available. And I also know they just released their Twilight conversion abilities on the site, so I'll be doing a video on that too once I actually get a little bit of time to dig into it a little more. For those at Fotello that might be listening, focus your attention on what you do best, editing images with AI. Because if you focus on integrating the things that us creators need to work efficiently, the rest will follow naturally. I'll catch you next time. Yeah, I'll catch you next time and get yourself some coffee if you want to.